And remember,
about 92 pounds.
hey, anything happens and it goes, it's not a big deal.
Oh crap! You know what I didn't think about?
We don't have
I'm
music.
plugged right into the camera, so I don't.
It was supposed to be different this time.
Ready?
Woo!
Okay, we don't have music this time. Actually, everybody in the comments was like, "No, I love the music. Stick with the music."
Oh, okay.
I wanted to. It's getting super windy, and it feels like there's a storm coming. But I wanted to show you guys that like we fully committed. Like I'm pretty sure you can hear the wind through the mics right now.
It's okay. It's going to be
No,
fine.
it's terrible. It's gonna be bad. Shh, that's what I'm hearing.
Okay, it's going to be okay.
No, it's not. We have to move.
Where are we
I just
gonna
wanted
go?
them to know that like we put in the effort
Oh.
to have like a really cool location. Look, like lean that way. Look how pretty. See how pretty that is? It's cool, right? So, we put in the effort. We genuinely did.
We did.
Okay, we're out of here before it gets wet. Everything will get wet.
It's starting to sprinkle.
So our topic for today, I actually posted a video on Instagram as a reel and Facebook too about the scariest moment of my entire life. So we had some moments. We got some stories, y'all. This one's gonna be. This ought to be fun. And we're back. It's not even the same day.
No.
So, but it is what it is.
It's life.
It's been busy. It's been really busy. But we're going to pick right back up where we left off. So we were talking about the scariest moment.
Right.
Well, we had some stories that we
did.
thought were worth telling. I found some old videos, and we're having a Lunchable over here next to us. So, okay. And I've got some accompanying video with this. If you guys are on the listening side, if you want to go watch the video version of this podcast, you can see what we're talking about as well for some of these stories. So the first one we do have a video of. So we were at an SFA event, right? Surfers for Autism. Mm-hmm. And where was that at?
Yeah, I think it was
West
in
Coast of Florida?
St. Pete. Yeah,
Okay.
St. Petersburg, Florida.
And we always bought raffle tickets at these events. Like we wanted to support the cause, and all that. So we always buy raffle tickets. Sometimes you get like a skateboard, or we got a couple
surfboard.
surfboards. We're always winning raffle stuff. One of the raffle items was parasailing, and we ended up winning it. And that was so Priscilla's like, "Yeah, you can do it." I was like, "Okay."
Well, it was for you and Isaiah. It was y'all's birthday weekend.
Yeah.
So what better birthday present?
What better birthday present? Worst present I've ever gotten. So we decide, okay, me and the two kids can go up in it. And Abigail was fearless back then.
Yep.
Absolutely fearless. Like she would do anything.
Climb and
yeah. And we talked to them and stuff, and they're like, yeah, totally safe. No issues. Like okay, okay. I feel comfortable-ish. Like I'm terrified of heights, but I feel like this is gonna be different because you're like suspended.
Right.
Like climbing a ladder scares me. Parasailing doesn't really scare me as much as climbing a ladder does.
I mean, it does now.
It does now. I'll never do it again. So we get out on the boat. They get us all set up. You can see by the expression on my face in that video how serious I was. I was locked in. I was like listening to the whole safety briefing. I was like all the instructions. Abigail is slung in front of me, and you're wearing a harness, and there's a strap under your butt, and that's just for comfort. The one under your butt. If you come out of it, it's no big deal. You're still in the harness, right?
Yeah.
Then they run the harness through a clip on the life. All this is important detail. You have to. It's all important, okay? There's a clip on the life jacket that they run through the harness, so you're like double clipped in.
Yeah.
Right? But it's just a life jacket clip. Like, I don't like that's not gonna hold body weight,
I mean.
And I was like, well, what happens if you turn upside down? Like people do it all the time. They like hang upside down. I'm like, that's crazy. So
You're like, that will not be us.
right. So we go up. Isaiah is obliviously, joyously happy. Like does not care.
So excited.
He is there for it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and they're like, hold her with one hand. So Abby's slung in front of me, sitting directly in front of me, like overlapping, and I'm holding her with one hand. My friend Dasher, he was making a film at the time. He's the guy that got me into filmmaking. So he's making a film at the time. He gives me a GoPro. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll get some cool footage of this. This is old school GoPro. This is like a OG original GoPro. So.
And you can tell that Abby is so happy about this. Mm-hmm. She is smiling.
Ecstatic.
Yeah.
So ready to go. So we get up in the air. She immediately wiggles and her butt comes out of the sling. Okay, which again, I was like, okay, no problem. Yeah, they told me that was just for comfort. Whatever, we're good to go. Her butt comes out of the sling, and she's like arching her back and like laughing, and Isaiah thinks it's hilarious, and I'm immediately starting to stress, not want to give up on things. I'm like, okay, keep going higher and higher and higher. I don't know how many hundreds of feet up we were. It was a lot. Like I saw a thing where like you can go 500. I don't think it was 500 feet, but it was a lot. Like you hit that water, it's gonna be like hitting concrete. I feel like.
Yeah.
So we get up there, and Abigail is literally trying to climb me. Like her back is to me, and she's putting her feet on my lap, and she's trying to climb up. Well, but the harness doesn't hold you. It keeps you from falling down, not climbing up. So I'm
who in their right mind would climb up?
I've got this death grip on her and I'm also like my butt's come out of the sling at this point too, right? So we're dangling, and I'm just like this, and I'm trying to hold one strap to keep us from flipping over upside down because I was so scared of flipping over upside down and her continuing to wriggle and not being able to turn us right back, upright again because now I'm top heavy because she's standing up in my lap. Right? So I'm trying to hold us up, hold this stupid GoPro that I'm no longer making a film with anymore.
I'm on the boat.
Yeah, Priscilla's on the boat watching.
But I can't see, like, they're far enough away I can't see all of that.
Isaiah has no peripheral. Because the straps go up next to his head and stuff, so he's just having a grand time. He thinks that I'm just enjoying myself, like the sounds I make. I don't know what sounds I was making. I don't know. But, so I'm holding the strap, and holding Abigail, I got my arm around the other strap, the straps that go up to the canopy. I got my arm around the other one, holding Abby by the life jacket, trying to keep her down, but she's using her full leg force to stand up, and I'm pulling her down with one hand, like fingers, So, I'm like, I'm not going to let go. Like, there's nothing on planet Earth that could pry her out of my fingers, but my biceps start to cramp up because I'm holding like this the whole time. So my arms start cramping up, and I'm like waving at the boat, and I'm like trying to signal to them that I can't hold on to her anymore.
Back.
And I don't know. I know she never would have fallen. I just felt like she would have, and I didn't. I wasn't gonna chance that. I wasn't gonna see. I wasn't gonna test that and see. So that was the worst experience of my life. Like
he
the
came
scariest
down, he was
moment.
white.
Yeah.
Like white. And I was like, "Oh, you weren't having fun." I thought you were like waving to us, so I was waving back to you. No, that wasn't it at all.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It'll be an experience you'll never forget.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Never gonna forget it.
Yeah. It was not traumatic for Isaiah because he doesn't talk about it. Like, he doesn't.
No, it was a great time for him. He was still smiling when we got to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't bother him at all. He had no idea.
So funny.
The terror that I was experiencing. So I guess these are scariest parenting moments.
And it sounds like with Abigail.
And they're both with Abigail.
Yes.
Okay, Priscilla has one too.
Okay. So I don't even know how old she was.
Well, Maverick was a puppy, a baby.
Okay, and he's 9. He'll be 10 next year.
We're going to call it 8 years ago.
Okay, 8 years ago.
Yeah. She
So
was 8 or 9 then.
She was still in a car seat. Oh my gosh. We have dogs swimming behind us. She was in a car seat because she was super little. And so she still fit in a car seat.
Tiny kid.
Yeah. And we had just gotten Maverick. And so I have a puppy and I have Abigail. And by myself.
Well, and this is, I'm sorry to interrupt, but this was the stage in which we took Maverick home to hang out with us before he went to get training to be a service dog.
Right.
So this is that time frame, like,
yeah,
new puppy, new to us. Like, weren't gonna have him for very long before we left. Like, it was early.
Right. So we pull up to the house and I take Maverick in, literally seconds. Like, I just take him in, put him in the door. Come back out, and I'm like, why do I hear Abby, like, laughing, but not where I should hear her laughing? So I get over there, and she had gotten out of the car seat. Not unclipped anything. She had slid out of the car seat with the buckles still buckled. So I'm panicking. So I start running through the neighborhood, and these kids see me, and they're like, "Oh, we saw her run that way." And she's little, y'all. I mean, she's little where we can carry her still. So she's running, and I'm running after her. And I don't know if you guys know this or not. I really haven't, like, told anybody, but I'm not a runner. Like, at all. Not a runner.
You're not?
No, I know. It's shocking. And so I'm not a runner. Like, ever have I been a runner in my entire life.
Hold the phone, though, because Abigail was, like, 2.5 feet tall. Not really. She was taller than that. But she was tiny. You could still catch her. Like, when she took off sprinting, you were capable of catching her. So it's not like she was faster than you. She had a 45-second head start.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is when she would just run forever. Like, now she won't do that.
Yeah. She would start sprinting and go.
And just go. She would elope all the time and just go. So we're running through the neighborhood. Now, the neighborhood that we lived in was not completely built up yet. So there were open lots, and there weren't houses everywhere, and there definitely weren't fences. So she's running, and I finally figure out, oh my gosh, she's running towards the neighborhood pool. Well, the pool had a fence around it because they're required to have a fence, and this is something that I still cannot grasp. That's part of our laws, and I'm sure a lot of other places are like this too. So the fence is required to have like a certain height fence. They have to have locks because they obviously don't want kids going in there. So she's running to the to the pool. Well, she can't get into the pool, but there's a retention pond, which is very big in Florida. Mm-hmm. They're so big that they actually, like, the houses around it, they say they're waterfront.
Yeah, like so if you're not familiar, it's like a sloping downhill grass. It looks like a pond would anywhere else. It just happens to be dug by humans, for retaining water.
But a lot of times it's pretty. Like, they'll put a fountain in the middle of it.
Right.
They'll put, they have ducks there.
Like cattails growing on the edge. And
yeah. And so.
And gators.
Yeah. My mom's neighborhood has one, and it's huge throughout the whole neighborhood, and they're constantly having to get gators out of there.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in Florida. So she can't get into the pool, but she can get into the retention pond because there's no rules on those that you have to have fences around them right next to the pool. So she jumps in. My mom and I had just taught Abigail to swim 2 weeks prior. So thankfully she's swimming. But while I'm running and can't breathe and I'm freaking out, I'm on the phone with Asa. I call you, and I'm like, Asa, she's running. She got out of her car seat. Like, I'm trying to tell him everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's going towards the pool. And it's not even like clicking yet that she's going to get into the retention pond because she had never done anything like that in her whole life. And she just jumps in. And I have visual of her. Like, I can see her the whole time.
So I'm on my way home when Priscilla calls me. And I'm like, hey, babe. And she's like panic, like heavy breathing, panic through the phone. And I'm like, okay, calm down. I am on, just keep your eyes on her. I am on, like, our road, right, that leads to our neighborhood. So instead of turning towards the house, I turn down the other road and head towards the retention pond. But I told Priscilla, I was like, don't chase her into the water. The relationship that Priscilla and Abby have has always been this way.
Yes.
Like, when Mom raises her voice or changes her tone or whatever, it's hilarious. and it's like, oh, Mom wants to play games. Okay. So I told her, for Abigail's safety, I was like, don't go in after her. Stay on the shore. To keep telling her to get out, but
obviously,
do not chase
unless
her.
something were happening where she was in distress.
Right.
Yeah.
If she just, she was swimming, and go ahead, I'll let you.
She's swimming, but she's not just swimming. I am full on mom voice, like panicked, but stressed and like fussing at her. I'm like, you better get out of that pond right now. And she is throwing muck at me.
Like the floats on the surface of the pond.
She's just throwing it at me and laughing hysterically. And I'm like, Abigail Lorraine, you better get out of that pond right now. Your father is on his way. And she could not give a crap what I was saying to her. Could not. She just kept throwing the muck at me. And I'm like, oh, this child. This child.
So I pull up in my truck. Priscilla's on the side of the pond. And I felt so bad. I was so heartbroken for her because she's on the side of the pond. Just looks
Pleading.
helpless. And she just looks at me like, there's got to be like a level of guilt there.
Right.
Like it doesn't matter who you are, like, or what the circumstances. She, feels terrible. She's just looking at me like, and I'm like, babe, it's okay. Like, she's okay. Like, everything's fine. Priscilla's crying and stuff. And I'm like, she's okay. She's fine. And I'm going to get her butt out of the freaking pond. So I take my work boots off and I point. I'm like, don't move. I point at Abby, and I wade out into that nasty pond water, and snatch her up and pull her back to shore. And I was angry. I was so angry. Abby was silent. She was just like,
She's like, oh.
She's like, oh crap.
Oh, I shouldn't have done this.
Shouldn't have done this. Okay, good to know.
And she smelled so bad.
Yeah.
Because it's gross.
Stagnant pond water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's up? Not right now. So, yeah, she smelled terrible. And so that would have to be the number one thing for me.
Both of our scary stories have to do with you, Ab.
Yeah.
Gosh.
That would freak me out.
Okay, I have a question for you. Your childhood moment that is just burnt into your mind,
Oh, gosh.
and the one time where you're like, I was not a good child.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, we're putting it all out there for everybody. You guys are about to judge me so bad. My mother is going to be so proud of this story.
Nice.
So, I think I was 11 or 12. That was my hellion years. Like, I was pretty good teenager. It was before I hit teenage years. So if you have a young lady, that can happen sometimes because we start going through puberty at that age. And so we think we know it all. So I don't even remember what started the problem that we had, but my parents actually, my mom and my stepdad had gone to like not therapy, but like gotten help with how to handle me because I was that bad.
Wow, I didn't know that part.
And so they told my
called
parents.
in like super nanny to.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so they told my parents, when she gets like that, just leave her. Like, she'll be fine. Just leave her. So that's what they did. They left me. So I was not happy with that resolution. So I decided.
Well, hold on. So
my parents
this
are
is the angle that their
my
parents tell it from.
are pulling out of the driveway.
Yeah.
And they look back at the house, and we had like a door that had this big oval window. Okay, so the whole door is pretty much like an oval window. Well, I decided.
What did Wayne say though?
Wayne's like, my mom says, "What is that in the window?" Wayne says, "That's your daughter's ass." Not my proudest moment.
So
I decided
Priscilla
to moon my
double
parents.
cheeked up on the front door of the house.
I don't know what my goal was with that move. My mom threw the car into park, comes hauling butt inside. She said she could hear doors slamming. And so I'm slamming the doors behind me, and I'm laying on my bed like I'm a princess. And she's like, you better open that door right now. I'm like, no, I won't. She took the door out with her shoulder.
Yeah, like off the hinges.
Like off the hinges. I was like, I was stunned. I was like, this sweet little Southern Belle woman.
Did you get your butt beat?
Oh, so she had these wood spoons. Don't come at my mom, okay? Do not come at my mom. Things are different, y'all. We got butt whoopings when I was growing up.
Whoopings.
Yeah, when I was growing up, you got butt whoopings. You can't do that now. She had these wooden spoons with ceramic vegetables on the end of them. She did not use the ceramic end. She used the wooden end.
Good. I'm glad
But
that
she broke every one of them over my butt. And it was okay. I was not abused.
How many wooden spoons I had? But like I wanted to like stop buying cheap wooden spoons.
Right? I was not a good kid. Like, my parents had to take me to the police department, and they showed me like the juvenile delinquents and said that you have two paths you can go down. You have this path or that path. And I remember seeing those kids like doing all this crappy work. And I was like, I don't want to be a bad kid. I don't want to go down the bad road. And from that day forward, it changed me. They scared me straight. And I was that kid that when my mom would go to smack me with a wooden spoon, I was like, I'm going to call child services on you. She's like, I will beat you while you're on the phone with them. And the police, when she took me to the police department, they were like, Miss Keller, we can come and supervise while you're beating her butt. Like, it was a thing. So don't think that we grew up. We grew up in way different times than you grew up now.
Yeah. I don't have a.
You were just a great kid.
No, there's not enough time on the SD card. Like there's so many.
It's like
stories.
I was so perfect.
Oh, I was bad. I was freaking bad.
Oh, come on. You have to talk about one story real quick.
Okay.
Where your dad found like food wrappers or something, and you had gone down to buy something that you shouldn't have bought or something. What was that one?
Yeah, Priscilla's mooning people. Meanwhile, I'm committing Grand Theft Auto. So I would take my dirt bike down to the store all the time and like get stuff or whatever. But I think I was 14, 13, something like that. Must have been 13. And I decided, I was like, I'll just take my dad's truck. Well, he had an old Ford, what was it, like late 70s Ford body? Anyway, F-150 Ranger, like sweet truck, huge truck, extended cab, long bed. The thing was like 30 feet long. It was ridiculous. And it always sat in the driveway, and that was a work truck. We did landscaping when I was a kid, and I did landscaping with him. That was our landscaping truck. So I was like, I can drive this truck. I've driven it before, like getting hay bales, because we used to bale hay in the field, and I would be the truck driving guy, while everybody else is off.
But you did not have a driver's license.
No, I was 13.
Yeah.
I drove that truck, moving stuff around for landscaping jobs, stuff like that. I was like, I'll drive the truck. So I got in the truck. I didn't even need to go anywhere. I think it was just one of those dumb kid things like, yeah, this needs to happen right now. So I get in the truck, fire it up, take off down the road, and go up to the store. No incidences happen at all. Like, everything was perfect. Mm-hmm. Pull back on the way back, I did go off the road at one point, and it's a dirt road, and it's like twisty, windy mountain dirt roads, so go off the road, went into the ditch. That scared the crap out of me because I came like this close from ripping off a mirror on a tree. It was a big, like the old school big trailer mirrors, I thought I was done for at that moment, but went off the road a little bit, pulled back in the yard when I got back to the house, and went in the house. And it must have been a couple days later. My dad came to me. He's like, "You joyriding?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "You joyriding in the truck?" I'm like, "No." And he like throws, I don't remember, some like Little Debbie wrapper in a drink bottle or something at me. Like throws it in my direction. And I was like, "Jeez." He's like, "You got to be the dumbest crook." He said, "Somebody said, 'Hey, Bruce, I saw you driving down the road the other day, and I waved at you, but you didn't wave back.'" Well, that's because it was me and not my dad driving down the road in my dad's truck. And then I left the food wrappers in there, and when I pulled in the yard, that truck was always a little heavy on the brakes. So when I pulled in the yard, I hit the brake a little too hard, and I slid and left muddy skid marks about that far in the grass. So, like, he's like, "You got to be the dumbest crook I've ever seen." It's like, man.
You just left your wrappers.
That was one of 523,112 times that I did bad things as a kid, and he caught me on that one. So, in all actuality, my record was pretty good. I got caught a lot.
Yeah,
but
you did.
that was just like on an average Wednesday. That was just a normal thing. He loves telling that story because he caught me in that story, and it was like, I'm like, oh, way to go, Sherlock Holmes. Like, I left a rapper in there. Like, I really gave myself away. Come on. So, but yeah, he loves telling that story. It's his favorite one to tell because it makes me look dumb. But
Right.
if he only knew. I was bad, man. I was bad. Tell us your bad child story or scariest
please.
moment.
Please
Let us
do.
know. I would love to, like, funny stuff. Tell whatever you want, but be gentle. It's the comment section, Can't get too crazy down there. What'd you do? All right, thanks, guys, for hanging out with us. Another podcast. We want to do
Yes.
some throwbacks, tell some stories, and share a little bit about our childhood. God, I'm glad we grew up.
Right?
We were not good kids
We
for a
were
while.
not good kids. We had our stages. So if your kids are in that crappy stage right now, don't worry. They can turn out to be awesome.
And don't forget, chances are, there's a good chance your kids are way better than you were. I mean,
I know ours are.
We had the freedom to, like, there were no cell phones. There was no way to track us. There was no Find My anything. There was no,
Right?
what's that app?
Life 360.
Life 360. There was none of that. Like, they had to find a payphone and call home.
Yep.
Like, yeah, we were probably way worse than our kid. I know I was way worse than Isaiah was.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. See you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out.
Bye, guys.
Bye.